D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, where I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and then we discuss them down below. Now, also down below, you can find the articles that I read to bring you this video, and you can read them, and make up your own mind, or you can just watch this video, and I'll break it down in just a little bit or whatnot. Before I get started, also, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine always get pushed to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So why don't we go ahead and get started? And for my first story this week, Amy Pascal confirmed that we are getting another set of Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. We're getting a new trilogy. Now, all of this is set in the MCU. And I don't really think that Tom Holland is interested in doing anything Spider-Man wise outside of the MCU. They keep making all these villain movies without Spider-Man. And I don't think Tom Holland has an interest in being in those movies. I think that I think he likes the MCU. I think he likes, everything going over on a Disney and everything. And I don't think that he's interested in doing any of these movies, which, I mean, to me personally, even though I liked Venom and I think Morbius looks good, I do think that not having Spider-Man in any of them is a little bit of a misstep, but we'll see, because it looks like Morbius, they're going to be alluding to Spider-Man and everything, even though, and the pictures of him were in the trailer or whatnot. So I think that this is a good idea as far as doing a new Spider-Man trilogy. I think that the trilogy concept has always been a smart idea when it comes to movie franchises. The MCU started off by, Iron Man got a trilogy, Thor got a trilogy, and then he got a fourth one, so he's getting a fourth one. But that third movie really felt like the start of a new trilogy, in my opinion. And Captain America got a trilogy. So I think the trilogy concept is a good idea. So I think that, and I think Spider-Man getting a new trilogy is also a good idea, because I think that Spider-Man, along with, say, like Hulk, and now Iron Man, there are certain superheroes that are very identifiable, even if you are not a comic book fan. Me, I love comic books and everything, but like my son loves Spider-Man, and the Hulk, stuff like Wolverine, Batman. These characters are so recognizable to even normies. Everybody knows who these characters are. They know their origin story, kind of thing. They're just built into, Americana / culture as far as superheroes go. So I think that this is a good idea to make another trilogy with Spider-Man. And Amy Pascal, she's a smart lady. I know some people don't like her, but I think she's a smart lady. She knows the business side of it. And, I think she knows what she's doing. So this first trilogy, it all focused on Peter Parker in high school, which I thought was a good idea. I liked it. It's a very, I like Tom Holland's portrayal of Peter Parker. I think he does a very good job. And I think that this second one should really focus on his college years / adult years. I like the adult Peter Parker kind of thing. I like seeing him in, in the Sam Raimi trilogy, we got him in high school, that first movie, but we only got him for like the first, what was it, like first half, maybe first 20 minutes. And then he did transition into college and everything. So I thought that was great. So I think this is a really good idea. Now, if they do the college thing, eventually they could do what they did in the comic books. And now that Tony Stark is no longer in the MCU because he died in Endgame, I think one thing would be good idea would bring in Parker Industries. Recently in the comic, well, kind of recently, but recently in the comic books, they had Peter Parker become a industrialist, and he started Parker Industries, and this was an American global defense / security, advanced technologies company. And it had its headquarters was in the Baxter building, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've read these comic books. And they had, like the Stark industry, and this could take over for Stark Industries unless they do Oscorp, because we're getting Green Goblin in this new movie. But this could take over for Stark Industries. Peter Parker, he now has those drones, or control of those drones. He could set up Parker Industries moving forward, and he is the president and CEO of Parker Industries. In the comic books. And then he also does Spider-Man. So I think this is a good idea. I think, like I said, Amy Pascal, I think that woman knows what she's doing. She's a good producer. When she ran Sony, I thought she did a pretty good job. It was just those stupid email leaks that got her in trouble, and she had to quit and everything. So that is my first story of the week. So for my second story of the week, it looks like Tom Burke is now set to replace Yahya Abdul-Mateen II in George Miller's Furiosa. Now, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, he had some scheduling conflicts due to a project that he wanted to do with another project. And the article, it said it was unknown the exact project that Abdul-Mateen was exiting over. But sources say that it was a secret passion project he had been developing for some time, and production recently moved up on it, which ultimately led to him leaving Furiosa. Which, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, or I like to call him Big Dick McGee. If you watched Watchmen, the show sucked, and his portrayal of Dr. Manhattan wasn't that great, but man, he was naked, and I was like, whoa. I was like, I can see why he was fine with nudity on that show. But anyway, so Big Dick McGee, he had to exit. And he's great as Black Manta. I love him as Black Manta in Aquaman. Can't wait for the second one. Anyways, okay, so he exited this movie. He had a pretty substantial role in this movie, and he exited it because he had this passion project that he was working on. Now, is this 100% true? I don't know, because you know how it works in Hollywood. Well, maybe you don't know. I don't know 100%, but maybe he just, he just was like, hey, I can't work on this movie. Maybe he had differences, but I believe people at face value. So he had this passion project. He was like, I'm going to go because I want to do this. Now, Tom Burke has taken over for him. Now, if you don't know who Tom Burke is, he was recently in Mank. Now, I didn't like that movie. I thought it was boring as all get out. It was shot nicely, and it was kind of like, interesting in some parts, but I thought it was boring overall. He was also in a movie called Only God Forgives. Never saw it. But he was also played Cormoran Strike in the CB Strike series from the BBC. And those are based off of the Robert Gilbrath books, aka J.K. Rowling, because that's a different pen name, which I actually like those books, and I do like that series. So, and I think Tom Burke does a good job in those. So it'll be interesting to see what he does, and it's always interesting. It was you're always going to be like, I wonder what Yahya Abdul-Mateen II would have done in this role, which is always the bad part of it. So this is a spinoff from Mad Max Fury Road, and if you remember, Furiosa was basically the main character in that movie. It should have been called Furiosa, Fury Road. But and that was played by Charlize Theron, she was replaced with Anna Taylor-Joy, because they wanted because this is a younger Furiosa, they wanted a younger actress, which I don't think that was the right move, in my opinion. I think Charlize Theron, I think she looks pretty. I think she looks younger than she really is, in my opinion. She looks great. She's very hot. I find her very sexy. Anyways, so this is a prequel and an origin story of Furiosa from that Mad Max movie, which I absolutely love. That movie. That movie is so good. If you don't like that movie, I don't understand why you don't like it, but it is very good. Yeah, it's very good. So Tom Burke will be replacing him. Also in that is Chris Hemsworth. None of I don't know their roles in that movie, but it'll be interesting to see what Tom Burke does. And that is my second story of the week. So for my third and final story of the week. All right, you guys. So Universal is still doing their Monsters universe. If you remember correctly, they called it the Dark Universe way back in the day when they were going to do all these movies and everything. And then that Mummy movie tanked at the box office. I don't think it tanked because it wasn't a good idea. It's just the script sucked, and they did a little bait and switch on us with Tom Cruise and the Mummy being a woman kind of thing. But anyways, So they're gonna do a new one, but and the Ryan Gosling is set to play the Wolfman in a Wolfman movie, which is interesting. I like Ryan Gosling. I don't know if it's going to turn out, but we'll see. But so they're moving forward with this monsters universe, which I think is great and everything. Though I'm a huge fan of the monsters movies from the back in the day, the black and white ones and everything. In fact, I told my wife we should start watching them again because they're actually pretty good. My favorite was always the Creature from the Black Lagoon, even though the suit looks stupid. The movies are still pretty good, at least they are from what I remember. So they're doing a Renfield movie. If you don't know who Renfield is Dracula's human, and he gets put into, according in Bram Stoker's Dracula, he gets put into a sane asylum, and then he eats creatures and stuff, and Dracula sends him like bugs to eat, like he sends him like flies and what are they called, those moths, those dead head moths, head death moths, I don't remember what they're called, but he sends them like flies or whatever, and people think he's crazy, but he's really not. He's just telling the truth, and everybody's just like, oh, you're a crazy person. But Chris McKay is directing this movie, and if you don't know who that is, he directed the Batman Lego movie and the Lego movies and everything, and he also just recently directed the Tomorrow War starring Chris Pratt, which I actually liked that movie. I thought it was pretty good. Now this is going to be set in present day, and they've cast Nicolas Hoult as Renfield, which I think is a good idea. I like Nicolas Hoult. He played Beast in the latest X-Men movies. He's now on that show, The Great. I have not watched that show with him and Elle Fanning, but from what I hear, it's very funny. But I haven't seen it, so I can't give my opinion on it. But I do like Nicolas Hoult. I think he's a talented actor. Very good looking and all that good stuff. But the one I want to focus mainly on is that Nicolas Cage has been cast as Dracula, which I think is fantastic. I love Nicolas Cage. Even all his craziness makes me happy. I think he's fantastic, and him being Dracula is actually not a bad idea. Sorry. I think it's very good. Now, if now Nicolas Hoult is Renfield, but Nicolas Cage, if you don't know who that is, first off, you're crazy. But he was recently in Pig, which everybody, I guess, loves. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. The last movie I saw was Willy's Wonderland. It's like a horror kind of movie, which I thought it was fantastic. I loved it, and I love Nicolas Cage in that movie. He drinks so much soda in that movie, which I don't drink soda, so I was just like, wow, that's so much sugar water that he's drinking. But then he was Ghost Rider in those Ghost Rider and in National Treasure. So I think that I love Nicolas Cage, like I said before. So, and he's kind of having a comeback. I mean, Pig, everybody, from what I understand, everybody that I talked to about that's seen Pig really liked it. So good for him. Now, this is supposed to be a horror comedy, and I would liken it to Warm Bodies, which Nicolas Hoult was in. That's why when I was looking up what movies he was in, so I could write it down for you guys. He was in Warm Bodies, which was kind of like a zombie romance, but that was kind of like a horror comedy. You had zombies eating people, but yet you had like the kind of fun aspect to it, where the one girl's pretending to be a zombie kind of thing. And while I was looking at movies that each one of these actors was in, I noticed that they both were in a movie called Weatherman together, which is it's kind of like and I remember seeing that movie. I don't remember Nicolas Hoult being in that movie, but I remember Nicolas Cage. But it's kind of like a Groundhog's Day kind of movie, but with a weatherman kind of thing. It doesn't even matter. Anyways. So I think that Dracula, I think casting Nicolas Cage was a fantastic idea for this movie and this universe. It's and I think setting it in present day is good. You've got the Invisible Man, well, now Invisible Woman, and then Ryan Gosling with his Wolfman. So I think maybe they're setting up a good monsters universe. We'll just see how this pans out, because I don't know how it's going to pan out now that that Mummy movie really tanked, and it was bad. It was not a good movie. All right, you guys. So those are my three stories of this week. Tell me, what do you guys think about all of this? How do you feel about Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man getting a new trilogy set in the MCU? Do you like this idea? Are you like me and you want to see his college years / adult years? Do you think that Parker Industries is a good idea, or you just think it's like that's like further down the road kind of thing? And then, are you excited about this? Do you like Tom Holland as Spider-Man? All that good stuff. How do you feel about Tom Burke replacing Yahya Abdul-Mateen II in the Furiosa prequel spinoff of Mad Max Fury Road? Do you like the choice of Tom Burke? Because Yahya was being replaced no matter what, but do you like this replacement of Tom Burke? Do you like anything that he's been in? Do you like his performance in the things that he's been in? How do you think this is going to turn out? I think it's going to turn out pretty good. I thought the first Furiosa, that Mad Max Fury Road, was really good, and I'm excited for this movie, but you tell me what you think. And then, how do you feel about Nicolas Cage being cast as Dracula for this Renfield movie? Do you like Nicolas Cage? Do you think that this sounds great? Do you like this monsters universe going forward at Universal? How much did you hate The Mummy? Because I know you did. Go ahead and tell me what you think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. I will see you guys next Sunday on my week in review. You guys have a good week. Bye. Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my week in review.